first up, I need a show of hands. Who's ever written a mod for Minecraft? Okay, good. This is how to do that. This isn't about different mods available. This isn't about how to install them. This is how to write them and how to get Minecraft extracted and open ready for editing. Next, who's ever done any kind of programming in Java, C, or C++? Okay, good, a couple. Which languages? Java. Okay, good. Minecraft is written in Java, so that's the one we'll be editing in. You don't need to know too much to do simple mods. To do the more advanced one, you do need quite a bit of programming knowledge. For today, I'll be showing how to do a very simple block mod. So I'll just get that started up, adding 2 new blocks to the game. Okay, this is what I worked on last night. And these 2 new blocks I added last night. So we have, if I go over here, can you still hear me all right? Okay, we have soft stone, which is a lot easier to destroy than normal stone. And we have an ore called azurite ore that I created. Now over here we can see, if I can get it, there, soft stone is a lot easier to destroy and it drops 4 blocks when you destroy it. This one here is a lot slower to destroy and only drops 1. We can also craft these using dirt. 1 dirt to get azurite ore. We can put that anywhere in the crafting table. 2 anywhere in the crafting table to get soft stone. Okay, that's what I'm going to be showing you how to get working. Right, for starters we'll need to set Minecraft up. Now that's, if I can get my mouse back again, setting Minecraft up to edit is one of the hardest parts. You need quite a number of tools. This is using mod loader so that you have compatibility with other mods as well. You'll need something called MCP, the Minecraft Coder Pack, which you'll get as a zip, and this allows you to extract Minecraft using this tool. There are lots of batch files, and I'll be showing you a bit later how to get that set up and working. We'll also be using NetBeans. I've been told it's a lot easier to do in Eclipse. Actually, I think I might go to duplicate so that I've got it on here as well. Okay, there we go. Now this is the Minecraft source code in here. These are all of the files, and in here we have all of the class files extracted and renamed so that they actually make sense. I've added down the bottom 2 new files. This one here, mod_presentation mod, and this file is loaded by mod loader when you start Minecraft. So this is where you'll put all of your startup code. This is Java code. I've also created a new class here for the stone, and we can see in this function we've got the quantity dropped function and we're returning 4, so that's what makes it drop 4 blocks when we destroy it. That's the finished product. I'll now go to how to set that up. First of all, do I have internet? No. Okay, I wrote a document last night, and this is up for download. You can get it from mcmodder.net23.net. That has a download to the media file, and that's the Word document. You can also contact me at mcmodder@gmx.com. This is the Word document that I've put up there, and this is on how to extract Minecraft and get it set up. First of all, you'll need Java. That's a prerequisite even to play Minecraft. I'll be using NetBeans, even though Eclipse can be easier. My personal preference is for NetBeans. That's this program here. And you'll also need Minecraft Coder Pack, MCP, and you'll need ModLoader, and all of the downloads here are listed. First of all, you'll need to extract the MCP file, and that's this one here. In here, you'll then need to go to jars and paste your bin folder. That's from Minecraft. That's after modding the Minecraft.jar with ModLoader. And you'll need to paste your resources folder. After that, you can run decompile.bat. I won't do that now because it takes quite a while. But that will get into SRC, which stands for source, and put the entire Minecraft code here. Once you've got it in there, you'll need to edit these files. These are all just text documents. If I go to block, which should be here, all this is a text document, and you can edit it from there if you want. You won't have all the fancy colours that you get through NetBeans, but you can edit it and write mods in there. Then you go back to here, run recompile, run reobfuscate, because you can't read the default Minecraft files. They all use AA and AB and QZ and whatever. So you need to unobfuscate it, which happens in the decompile stage, and then you need to reobfuscate it at the end. That goes into here and puts all of the files for the mod. Then I use 7-zip, add them all to a zip file, and then you can add that into your Minecraft jar as a finished mod. That's the general overview of how to do it. The next step is how to get NetBeans set up. Now, I'll create a new folder here, and I'll actually run you through how to do that. I think that's available. Now, yes? Oh, okay. If you've got any questions, just put your hand up. In here, we'll need a folder called libraries. We need that to get rid of the errors and be able to debug it from within NetBeans. We'll need another folder called SRC. That's what we put all of our source files into. And we'll need another one for the NetBeans project. Now we can go into SRC, also open up the decompiled Minecraft, and copy this folder here from the SRC in MCP to the SRC in our mod folder. We'll just let that finish in the background. Next, we also need, from our %app data, who's ever installed mods to their Minecraft? Good, because you'll need to know how to do that if you want to get it working. Now you will take the bin and the resources, copy those and go to, I think this is, no, it's the other one, this one, and we'll need to paste, sorry, we actually need to go, no? Actually need to go into here. Under temp we have all of our extracted files from the Minecraft jar. We need all of these except meta-in, net and argo, and we need to copy those across to our source folder as well. That'll go nice and quickly. Then we'll be ready to get set up in NetBeans for our new mod.
Excuse me.
Yes?
Did you say you did need the Argo folder?
Yes, the Argo folder.
You haven't copied across Armor. You've copied across Argo.
Which one? Oh, thank you. Okay, yep. Now that's got all of our files set up into our mod folder. The only other thing is that in libraries we need to put Paul's code. A guy called Paul put together all of the sound libraries for Minecraft, and Minecraft won't run in debug mode without those. Now we can go into NetBeans. I'll just close this one, and we'll create a new project. This is a Java project with existing sources. It's important that you don't choose Java application because this is a mod and not a program in itself. Next we need to set a name. I'm just using pmod. And we need to put it into a NetBeans project folder that we created. We don't want a dedicated folder because we'll manage that ourselves, and we do want to set it as a main project. Now we need to select our sources, and we put those all into this src folder. They get added automatically. We want to include everything, so we'll just hit finish. Wait for that to create the project. Then there's one more step, which, just trying to think, yeah, we need to set up our libraries here. At the moment we've only got one. We need 4 in there. So we start with our jar/folder. You can see these red icons. That means they're errors, and that's because we don't have the libraries. So add to the libraries folder. That will get rid of some of them. The other one is a library I've created called the LWJGL. That's a lightweight Java game library, and that's what Minecraft was written in. That's how it renders and everything. And I don't know, should I go through how to create that library? It is written in the Word document. Okay. And if you look on this one, the red exclamation mark is now gone. That means that we've got all of our libraries working in there, and we can now hit the green Run button. The other important thing is we need to select which, they're called class files. All of the Java files are called class files, and we need to select which one to run when we start. That's Minecraft, not the start. Hit OK, and wait. It's a lot slower in debug mode, however, you can't tell the errors without it. And I just realized there will be an error here. Yep. So we do want to cancel that. There is one more thing we need to add to our properties. That's under Run, and it's under VM Options. Go down to here. This is the Word document, and I go to mcmodder.net23.net to get to this file. There's a download on there. And it should be in here somewhere if I find it. This one here. You need to add this line into our VM options, and we'll need to modify it. First of all, I'm using Windows, so I need Windows there. You can also put in Mac OS X if you're using Mac, although I'm not sure how you set up NetBeans then. And in my case, this folder here is actually a different name. So I'll just be a moment working out what that one's called on my computer. If you set it up the way I've got it in the Word document, then that's the way you'll need it. Okay, that should be right now. And if I hit Run, that's no good. Okay, if you do get it set up, then I'll open the other one, which I got working on my desktop. And I'll just close this one. Just go through what it says in the Word document and that will work. This one here with the mod, that you can hit run and it runs it in a debuggable mode. Debug means that you can check for errors and where it's going wrong. We can see here there's an error because I'm not connected to the internet. Hostless, that's what I think it means. But that doesn't matter unless we want to use multiplayer. In the end we can see that build was successful. Right, now I think we'll get on to actually writing the mods. First of all, go to source packages within your mod. All of your files are within net Minecraft src. Unless you're doing multiplayer mods, I won't be going into that today. Then you go to File, New File. You want a Java class, which is within Java. And this one here will need to be named mod underscore and then whatever you want. Mod underscore is the standard mod loader file, and that's what you'll need if you want it compatible with other mods. Also in package, make sure you're putting it into net.minecraft.src, otherwise you will get a warning. Normally it'll say there and it gives you this warning. So go down to here and select that one. Hit finish. In this case I've already created it, and because it starts with a lowercase it appears right down the bottom of all of your files. This is what I've put into the file when you originally create it, and I will do one. You will get an empty file here with nothing in it, and it should also give you an error, or perhaps no. Okay, now I'll need to go into an aside on Java programming, because not many of the people here have done that. In Java, everything is separated into what are called class files. A class is a collection of lots of different items. They're called variables normally, and functions, which are things that you can run, which modify these variables. And that's what every kind of program is. This class here is called mod underscore pmod, and it's public. What public means is that all other functions and classes can see this class. That means they can create variables of this type of class. If you set that to private, you wouldn't be able to open it in other classes. The other thing is that this class file uses a template, and that's called base mod. I think that's how it's written. Yes, extends base mod. And we can see that gives us an error. Now that's meant to give us an error because we haven't yet defined what we should do when this class file is created and ModLoader creates this. For that we need to create, and I think it's a public void function. Yep. And it's called load. Now a function is something that can be called, can be run from any other function. In Java we first need to declare whether it's public or private. If it's private, you can only access it within this class here. Normally go public for safety, you can use it in any file. Then this one here returns void, means when it's finished it doesn't tell the class that ran this file any data, it simply returns empty, so it doesn't return anything, it just lets it know that it's finished running. And we need to have these brackets. These are the variables, the data, that is passed to this function when we call it. So a class will say, I want to run this function, and I'll give it this data, this information. And that information goes inside those brackets, the yellow ones. Then the function looks at those variables, looks at that information, does stuff with it, and then tells the function that called this function, okay, I'm finished, you can keep going with what you've done. And sometimes it'll also give it a number or a letter. And when you first run a program, it goes to a default function, which it starts running. That one will call more functions, that one will call more functions, and eventually it'll finish. After any function, we then need these braces. They declare what's going to happen within this. And because this is a void, we can say that we want to simply return. We don't need to tell it what we want to return. If this said public int, that means it returns an integer. Now, an integer is a number, and then we'd need to say, for example, 4. In this case, because it's void, we don't return anything. Now, this one's still giving us an error, and that's because we don't have this public string get version. I'll just add it. I think that's how it was written. Yeah. Just one minute. Yes, it is. And we need to return something again. This is another function that gets run when modloader starts, and that lets modloader know what this mod is called, what its name is, and what version it is. Because it returns a string, we can see rather than void up the top, we're returning a string. That means string is a text in programming, and we put that within quotation mark, and we'll say here that it's called pmod 1.0. The other thing to note is that every statement, everything that gets run, needs to end with a semicolon in Java. That's one of the most frequent errors you'll get. And if I just look at this, I don't think we've got any errors anymore. If I just wait. Yep, and we don't have any errors anymore. This is a working mod, although it doesn't do anything at the moment, so that's what we'll need to do. Going back to this one I worked on last night. Now, it's only 100 lines. It looks quickly when I'm scrolling through it. And I'll just go to view full screen, and I'll actually work through what this one does. First of all, we say this is a public class, which means it's of type class, and we can create variables of it. This is the name of the class when we create objects of it, and it uses the template of base mod. That comes with modloader, and it basically says that this class has all of these variables and functions inside it. Next, we create an object. This object is called world, with lowercase w, and it is of a type of class. World is a class. We can see on the left here, if I scroll up, this one here. In here, we have a class world. The implement is like extends, except it's a little bit different, but in effect it does the same thing. But this is a class. It has all of these variables and items. It has a heap of functions inside it, and it's a very long file. So we won't be going through that today. However, this here creates an object called world of the type of class world with capital W. We can then use that if we want to do something. I can't think off the top of my head what we'd use it for, though. We do use it here. When we load it, we say what... Okay. This doesn't actually create the creates a space for the object, but it doesn't fill it in with the object. This here fills it in with the world, which is a variable within the modloader class. However, I don't know that we would need that. Yeah, it does say it isn't used, so we can probably get do without it. Next thing in programming, this symbol here, 2 forward slashes, indicates a comment. Means that this line is not run. Alternatively, use a forward slash and a star followed by a forward slash, to say that everything within these is a comment. And I could, if I wanted to, put another new line in here. However, I won't be doing that this time. Next, this is how we create a new block. This block, just a little side note on naming conventions. Choose a name for your mod. In this case, it's pmod. Then put an underscore, so all of your files, I would name pmod underscore something in this case. And if I just find it on the left, I think it'll be up at the top. There is a file that I created, and it's named pmod underscore, in this case, blocksoftstone. All of your files, name them, in this case, pmod underscore something, and then they'll all be around here, which is essential when you've got larger mods. So that rather than scrolling through this whole list, you only need to look in the one area to get to all of your files. This is giving me an error now because it can't find the world variable because I commented that line out. That line no longer gets run, so this world doesn't exist. I can comment that out too, though, and hope that doesn't give us any further errors, and I don't think it is. Just quick, are there any questions so far? I know I've covered an awful lot. Yeah?
Can you use Eclipse instead of...
Yes, you can use Eclipse. I've never used Eclipse, and my personal preference is for NetBeans. However, MCP, the Minecraft Coder Pack, includes an Eclipse project, so it's a lot quicker setting it up with Eclipse.
Okay, that's what I use.
Yep. And if I knew how to use Eclipse, then I'd be doing this in Eclipse because it's so much... Yes. It's just a lot easier to write Minecraft mods in Eclipse than it is in NetBeans because of how much initial setting up you need.
Yeah.
Once you're going, though, my personal preference is for NetBeans. Yeah? So this here is a new block that I'm adding. I'm using multiple lines here for the same statement. The semicolon only comes at the very end. Most programming languages ignore white space, which means that this is the same as that. There's no difference here, aside from the fact that, like this, it becomes more readable. Is that alright for size up there, or do I need to zoom in?
That's fine.
Okay, good. This here means the static final means that we can't modify this item after we've created it. Initially, it's public and it's of type block. All of our blocks, if we want to create them, will be of type block. We need a name for it, in this case, pmod underscore block underscore or Azurite. Note the capitalization, that's just a naming convention that I've decided on, and I've found that it works very well. Here we just say that it's equal to, meaning that we say what this actually has, what this variable has within it, and we create a new object of type block or. Because this is an OR, it means that we're using a predefined block OR. In this case, we're using our own file, and I'll get to that soon. Next, who's used single player commands? You know what damage values are? When you use give and then a number rather than the name of it? Yes?
When an object has multiple versions of it, like a torch.
Yep, they're the damage values. Now in this case, I'm not using them. That's a lot more efficient. You can use a single damage value and then put all of your blocks into it. In this case, I'm just using a single ID of 192 for this block. So I could, in multiplayer, I think it's give 192, and I'd get a stack of Azurite ore. Next, we need to say, decide which image to use. This is one I created earlier. I'll just open it up. Go to desktop in here. Now, all of these are within a pmod folder, or whatever your mod's called. In here, I've got a blocks folder because I may potentially add creatures, and I have done that in one of my mods. They're just a lot harder because you need the AI. And here we find ore azurite, which if I zoom in, is the image that we've used for the ore. The other one is the soft stone image, which is a bit hard to see. This one's a lot easier. So here we say that we're overriding the terrain.png. Who's done texture packs? Made their own texture packs? Yeah? The terrain.png contains all of your blocks, and in this case we're overriding it with our own PNG image. So this is what decides what the graphic for the block is. Next we set its hardness, which is how hard it is to destroy it by hand, and its resistance, which is how hard it is to destroy it with TNT. If, for example, soft stone, we were to add, say that this one here is, for example, 45, it would be almost impossible to destroy with TNT, but very easy to destroy even with your bare hands, which is a bit funny. Next we need to add a step sound, which is the sound it makes when we step on it. We're just using the standard stone footstep sound. And we need to say what its internal name is. Now the internal name is not actually used within the game. Down here we add a new name, which is the in-game name for this file, this one here, for the variable, and we say that it's to be called azurite, or if I add an exclamation mark after this one, then the block name will have an exclamation mark in it. That's gone through each of these. The last thing is this pmod underscore block soft stone is a custom block type. Here we're using the standard ore. This one we're using our own custom block type, which we find here. It extends block, which means it uses the... Yes?
Just with the bit about the hardness is how much it damaging your hand causes to it.
Yeah.
Is it just your hand, or does that account for tools as well?
Yeah, that's your hand or using tools.
Okay.
Anything that you inflict directly. I'm not sure what zombies on doors counts as, because they can destroy doors now. And I'm not sure whether that goes into hardness or resistance. But zombies shouldn't be trying to destroy your blocks. I think that's only for doors. But the resistance is for TNT, hardness I think is for everything else. Okay, back to custom block type. Just a bit noisy. Okay, this one extends block, which means it uses the template of type block. That's a standard Minecraft one, and any new blocks you add will extend this. Extend means it uses that template. In here we have 3 functions. One is called a constructor. Now for anyone who's done Java before, or C++, they'll know what that is. What it is a function that gets called, that gets run, every time that a new item, variable of class pmod underscore block soft stone gets created. So when I create a new instance of this class, it will run this function. It takes 2 variables. Now I don't actually know what these mean. They're just parameter 1 and parameter 2, and they're standard block variables that, yes?
So that's like the main variable in C# or JavaScript?
I don't know how they work in with C# or JavaScript. In this case, they're integers, which means they can only hold numbers.
I was talking about the function.
The function itself.
It's the initialize function.
Okay, yeah, it probably is something along those lines, because it gets run when you initialize the class. and it takes two variables. They're both integers or numbers. We could also use float in there. If I just go back to here, this set hardness function has an f after the number. That means it's a floating point number, and floating point numbers can go a lot larger than integers. Integers have a minimum limit if they're signed, meaning they're positive or negative, of about 1.8 million, and a positive limit of also 1.8 million, so negative 1.8 or positive 1.8 million. Floating point values, I think most of you will have done indices in maths, powers. Floating point values have an exponent, or a power of 10 that it gets multiplied by. So where an integer might be 20, a floating point value will be expressed as 2 by 10 to the power of 1. That means that floating point numbers can go up to, I think it's 1.2 by 10 to the 308, which means 308 zeros. So we can go to very large numbers using them. But we also lose the accuracy in the lower levels then if we go that high, because it only stores, I think it's 8 significant figures. That's just a little side on data types. You can Google data types, by the way, for a list of all of them. Next we have a super constructor, which I think is the constructor of the class type block, and we run that giving it these two variables, and we also tell it which material it is. Interestingly enough, this dot means that we're addressing a variable within the class. Material is a class, and if I put a dot here, I get a list of all of the materials that are within that material class. So I could set it as wood, I could set it as TNT. In this case, we're using rock, which is the standard stone one, and this is a type of stone. It also means, however, that we need to use a pickaxe to mine it quickly. If we set it to leaf, shears would mine it quickly. If we set it to wood, then an axe will mine it quickly. So that's how the tools fit in with this. Next, we have another class. Also, constructors don't return a value. This one here returns an integer. This one doesn't return anything. Here we're returning an integer of the ID of the block that gets dropped when we destroy it. In this case, we're addressing a mod underscore presentation mod, which is this file up here, the other one. In that we have a variable called pmod underscore block underscore softstone. That's this variable here, and it's a type block. And we return its block ID. So this is the ID of the item that gets dropped. I could just say 192 there. Here I've said that this one, 193. I've said that the ID here is 193, so I could just put 193 in there and it would do the same. But if I change the ID, say if Minecraft decides they want a new block with ID of 193, then I'd need to go through and change every instance instead of just the one. And the last function we use here is the returns an integer, and that's how many it drops, the quantity dropped. And we're returning 4, which means each time we destroy it, we drop 4 of these blocks. So that's what this block softstone has in it. If you scroll up on the left-hand side, we have all of our other standard blocks. Obsidian, for example, we can see drops 1 block when we destroy it, and it drops an ID of obsidian. Obsidian's a nice simple one. You can have a lot more complicated ones. I won't even look at the piston one because of how complicated it is. If you're not using ModLoader, this is the file that you add your blocks into, the block.java file. And you scroll down here and we see all of our standard blocks here. First of all, this one creates a block of type with the name of sand, and it's a type block. The other part, right down the bottom here, we have a list. Here's sand, and we say sand equals new block sand, etc. Up here we've done that in a single one. I could do it in 2 lines, and instead of having it an equals here, I could say, could put a semicolon here to say that's the end of the statement. Then I'll just take that back and say p mod underscore block underscore or azurite is equal to. Okay, I think I'll need to put that in the constructor if I use that, so I won't do that at the moment. Are you coming in for this presentation or the next one? Okay.
Are related?
Yeah, that's fine. Just want to know how long I've got yet. I think I'll need to cut it short, but if anyone has any questions, now's the time to ask them. But that's basically how to create a new block. You also need to run several mod loader functions, the register block, add name. You can find an awful lot of tutorials on YouTube if you go on there, and you can find a lot of other tutorials on websites, and I'd suggest that you use those. Yes, question?
Do you know how the mod API is going to change any of this?
Beg your pardon?
Do you know how the mod API is going to change any of this? Is it going to...
Okay, when the mod API comes in, we won't be using mod loader anymore, so you won't need to put mod loader in before you decompile it. You'll simply decompile it with the standard Minecraft, then you'll go into this one here, set it up as we did, and edit the files, then you'll go back again and recompile. Yes?
What is in the meta-inf file that's...
Okay, lot of questions there. Meta-inf is actually a folder, and in that we have an important file called manifest. This file is a text document, and when we run the jar, when we double click on the jar, normally it doesn't run it. On Mac it does, and for all other Java applications all you do is double click on the jar. It then looks at the manifest file, which is inside meta-inf, and that tells it which file to run to start running the program. Now when you start it on Windows through the exe, it actually does that automatically, but it also does a check for whether or not the files are the standard ones if the meta-inf is there. So that's what that is. Any other questions? Yes?
For the different points on a crafting table where you put the dirt block in anywhere, is there a set amount or can you just add one?
Okay, in this case I'm using the modloader.addShapelessRecipe. That's a function inside the modloader class, and I'm saying that I need it gives me 1 block after crafting it. If I set that to 2, then these would give me 2 blocks. Then I need to, as the second parameter for the addShapelessRecipe function, I need to create a new object containing 2 blocks of type dirt with a comma in between them. This one uses a single one. I think the function is modloader.addRecipe or something like that. Yes, addRecipe. And this one here also takes 2 variables. I won't do that now, but on the left, if I scroll down, you can see Minecraft is a big one, big program. And under recipes crafting, this here is how we add the default crafting ones. So when we add a new object, we need to use this object layout instead of the layout that we used here, which simply adds the blocks. In this one we say we need 3 on the top layer, 2 on the middle layer separated by a gap, and 3 on the bottom layer, using block of planks to create a block of chest, and it gives you a single block back. So this is how we create one using the standard method. If I copy these, use copy and paste an awful lot, steal whatever you want from the standard Minecraft, and if I get rid of this shapeless here for the or azurite, add recipe instead, paste into here and I'll need to steal, if I find it, this new object as well. Put that in here. That's no longer giving me any errors, and in here I need block of dirt. Then I don't think that's got any. Oh yes, and this one, which I'll just get rid of. And that's now added a shaped recipe. If I can work out how to exit full screen here. Escape. Does anyone know how to get out of full screen? F11. F11. No? F6 is the quick way to run it. And if I go into here, I'll need to collect a little more dirt quickly. How much have I got? I think I had 3, so that makes 8. Go back to here, and one block no longer creates the azurite ore. I now need to create this shape here to get the ore. So did you see how that worked? Yes. So that's a quick introduction on writing mods for Minecraft, and I hope it's been informative. Any final questions? No? Okay. Then I think I'll get set up. This is the quick way to do it. Okay, and thank you very much for watching.